You know, the question was asked, if I could have dinner with anyone in history, who would it be? And I chose Rick Rubin. Now, I know you may not realize who that is, but Rick Rubin is one of the most influential music producers of our time. He's produced a wide range of bands from the Beastie Boys and Metallica to Johnny Cash and Adele. He was the co-president of Columbia Records and, along with Russell Simmons, the co-founder of Def Jam Records. He also was instrumental in the rise of hip-hop. Now, I'm not a big fan of hip-hop, but I can't deny how much of an effect it's had on music around the world. I'm Daniel Snyder, and no, I don't own the Washington Redskins. But if I did, I'd be pretty happy with the direction that my franchise was headed. But now that we've established that I'm not that Daniel Snyder, allow me to introduce myself and my family. I was born in Burlington, Vermont, and at the age of 5 moved to upstate New York. Incidentally, not too far from where Rick Rubin was growing up in New Jersey. New York State was a great place to live. Summers were cool, and during the winter there was enough snow for us to have a lot of fun. But in the summer of 1980, we moved to Austin, Texas. Now, some of you might remember that summer. It was the hottest on record. I remember walking home from school that first day was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. But as you can see, I survived, and Austin actually turned out to be a pretty good place to grow up. In 1996, I married a Serbian princess, Olivera Mitic. Okay, so maybe she's not a real princess, but to me, she's my queen. I actually met my future mother-in-law first in 1990, and she introduced me to Ollie. It was love at first sight. For me, at least. For Ollie, it took a little bit longer to come around. We have 3 amazing, talented kids. Claudia is 15 and a sophomore in high school. Isabel is 10 and in the 5th grade. And Gabriel is 5 and he just started kindergarten. Claudia is our singer. She is in choir and show choir, and she also leads worship for the youth group in our church. Isabel is the smart and funny one. She loves to act and dance, and someday wants to be a chef and own her own restaurant. Gabriel is all boy. He loves to build things just so he can tear them down. He loves to play baseball and basketball and soccer. All my kids love music, and at any given time you can come to our house and you can hear music filling up the air. And I love music too, but not just listening. I love to sing and play. My main instrument is bass, but I also dabble a little bit in guitar. Now, back in high school, I decided that I wanted music to be my creative outlet. So some friends and I started a band and we started playing around town. Now, at that time, I really didn't know who Rick Rubin was, but the music he was producing was everywhere. Hip-hop and rap were really on the upswing. They were starting to grow. And even some of the harder rock bands that he was producing were making a lot of headway. Now, I remember a collaboration between Run DMC and Aerosmith on Aerosmith's song Walk This Way. And my friends really didn't like the collaboration or the combining of the two genres, but for me there was something that just piqued my interest. You know, I think I got my music talent from my dad. Now, don't get me wrong, my mom loves music and she likes to sing, but let's just say singing is not her God-given talent. My dad, on the other hand, grew up in bands. He played in bands growing up, and he even had the opportunity to play with Elvis Presley, although Elvis never actually made it to my dad's hometown. You know, I have a dream, and my dream is to open my own recording studio where I can help up-and-coming Christian artists and write and record my own music. Now, my time with Rick will be invaluable for this, not just from the recording aspect of it and the producing aspect, but also just the ability to find the next big thing in music. You know, I have a passion to reach people for the glory of God through music. And I think it's time that we shake up Christian music like Rick Rubin did with rap and hip-hop. You know, I also love football, but I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, and I'm not a fan of the Redskins. I bleed black and gold. That's right, I'm a Steelers fan in Dallas, Texas. You may ask, how does that happen? But it's just another thing that my dad, being born in Oil City, Pennsylvania, handed down to me. Gabriel hasn't started playing football yet, but I can't wait for that day. To see him one day playing in the black and yellow of the Steelers would be a dream come true. And you know what? I guess that's kind of what fathers do, is they live out their dreams through their kids. I may be past my prime to be in music, but I can watch my daughter Claudia grow in her talent and just dream about being on stage with her. I can think about getting up every morning and owning a restaurant with my daughter Isabel, and just think about making those culinary masterpieces. And you know what? Probably in some way my dad looks at my life and the things that I've done and takes pride that he had something to do with it. This is who I am. A son, a husband, and a father. The next time you hear the name Daniel Snyder, don't think about the Washington Redskins. Think about the man who followed in the footsteps of famed music producer Rick Rubin and changed music. I'm Daniel Snyder, the future owner of Black and Yellow Records.